holding you back from touching the sky? What's holding you back? You gotta fly like an eagle and go high. What's holding you back from touching the sky? Oh, holding you back, you finally gotta reach for the sky. I was born to succeed, not to be a spoke in the wheel. Told myself there's more to this than just waking up when I feel. So I made a commitment to turn my earnings up. Couldn't see myself as an employee that still couldn't. Looked in the mirror, saw a spark in my eye. Knew I had to hustle and stop living a lie. I packed my dreams in a suitcase, took the first train. I'm headed for the horizon where success is no doubt.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of What's Holding You Back. My name is Rob McCray from the Business Building Network, and I am so excited to be with you once again for another edition of the podcast. So we're going to have a very interesting topic of discussion for today, as we're going to be talking about what do you put more time into? What do you prioritize? Are you living for today or living for tomorrow? So stay tuned, and we are going to get into that discussion for today. And we hope to have a very interactive discussion about this particular matter. But before we get into that, we just want to do a brief recap of the broadcast from last week when we had a very special guest come on board, and we had our sister come on, Joan Fletcher from Caregiver Referral Services out of Canada. And she was talking about all of the different things that goes into providing caregiver services for those who are in need. So if you missed that program, that broadcast, we want to encourage you to go back to either one of our YouTube channels. My co-host Christine Allen, who is not here as of yet, but we are expecting her shortly. Her YouTube channel is Clear Ambitions, and my YouTube channel is Rob McCray Networking. So please, by all means, go back and review that broadcast if you missed it last week. But today we're going to have a very delightful topic and discussion about are you living for today or tomorrow? What are you prioritizing in your life? So that's going to be our topic of discussion for today. So as you are jumping on board, please leave a comment in the chat. We would love to acknowledge you and welcome you to the broadcast. And I see that my Sister Jody Sett is already amongst us. So greetings unto you, my sis. Always a great pleasure to have you with us. And I thank you for joining us today as well. So yes, we're going to have a wonderful time and look forward to having a very interactive discussion. So as I'm quite sure you all are aware, if you are someone who has been coming on to the broadcast on a regular basis, we always like to start off our broadcast with having a word of inspiration pertaining to our particular subject matter of that day. So today shall be no different, and we're going to start off with our word of inspiration taken from this quote. And it reads, "Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow." And that's coming from Albert Einstein. And yes, as we all know, tomorrow is promised to no one. So yes, we need to learn from yesterday because there is a blessing in the lesson, and life leaves us with a bunch of different lessons that we should all be learning from and using that to shape our days and going forward and into the future. So learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for a better tomorrow. All right. So let's see what Sister Jody is saying. All right. I am prioritizing a closer relationship with God. Amen. Clearing debt. Yes, absolutely. And working on my dreams to make it a reality. Yes, sis. Declare it, and so shall it be. Yes, I'm coming in agreement with you on all of that. And yes, that shall be your portion in life. So, yes, thank you so much for sharing that. And anyone else want to share as we get into our topic of discussion for today, please type it in the chat. We would love to hear your feedback. So let us get into our discussion for today. So let me just bring it back on screen. Me 1 second. Okay. So are you living for today or tomorrow? What are you prioritizing in your life? What do you see as being more important? The actual present time that you're living in, or that hope and prayer that we shall reach tomorrow and making our lives better for that time if we are indeed able to live to see it. So, yes, that is our topic of discussion for today. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of having a thought or a presence in living in the present, or if you are one that is geared more towards prioritizing and making plans for your future. So let's look at what that's going to look like. So, how much of an emphasis do you put on what's happening today as opposed to what's happening tomorrow? And as we have this discussion, there is no wrong answers in this. It's just a matter of what your thoughts and ideas, what is your course of guide that you use to get you through life. Are you more emphasized on what's happening currently, or are you planning for tomorrow, living and hoping for a brighter future? So we know that no one is promised tomorrow, especially in the crazy times in which we are living in today, with all of the different conflicts going on around the world. But we want to make sure that we are always finding and looking for a greater balance in our lives. You know, some things we have no control of, but in the event that we do get to see our days of tomorrow, we want to have plans in place that will enable us to have the things in which we so desire in life. So the only way we're going to be able to do that is by making sure that we're planning and making preparation for our futures. So when we say living in the presence or living in the future, we must appreciate the present time in which we are currently living in. Take time to enjoy the finer things in life, the simple things in life. Um, a lot of times we take things for granted because we're just accustomed to having such things. But if we don't really take the time out to really enjoy it and appreciate it, we will start to lose some things, and we will start to diminish the value of the present and current time in which we are in. So when we think about being in the presence, should I eat all of my food or save some for tomorrow? Should I spend all of my money or save some for tomorrow? Should I see that longtime friend or family member today or put it off and I'll go see him tomorrow? So these are some of the things that we have to find that balance with when we're talking about Are we living in the present, or are we living for tomorrow? You know, we don't want to get ourselves in a false premise of belief that we can continually put things off until tomorrow when we could be doing them today. Sometimes you have to be in the present and say, all right, I'm not going to wait until tomorrow. I'm just going to take the initiative and see what I can get done today, because we never know what's going to happen tomorrow to ourselves or that loved one that you might want to get in contact with. So take the opportunity as soon as you can to, continue on with those relationships. So you see another comment with you. Okay, coming up. All right, so Sister Jody says, to be honest, I'm living for both today and tomorrow. Yes, my sis, 100% agree. I have to rationalize that my older self will, will be depending on my younger self. Absolutely true. Yes. I have to definitely make the sacrifices for tomorrow. Well said, my sis. Well said. Yes. Your older self will depend on your younger self from all of the experience that you had in yesteryear. Those are those learning experiences that we go through in life that will propel us to higher heights as we grow and as we mature. But at the same token, we have to be putting a plan in place for our tomorrow so we can live that life in which we have always envisioned. So, yes, sis, we thank you so much for sharing those comments right there. So, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of living in the present. So, when we talk about the pros of living in the present, living for today, you're going to talk about having less stress and anxiety because you're just focused on the here and now, right? You're better focused. You're facing less distractions because you're clear. You're just focused on today. You're not worrying about tomorrow. There's greater opportunity for much more productivity as you are focusing on the current time and place in which you are in, right? And that can bring on that inner peace and appreciation, that appreciation for the things that you do have, because you are what? You are in the present, and you are just showing your gratitude and have a greater appreciation for the time and place in which you are in. All right, so at the opposite end of the spectrum, let's look at some of the cons in when you are just dealing with the present state. So some of the cons are it's going to limit you from planning for the future because you're mainly focused on today. It's going to limit your ability to learn from the past. hmm And it's also going to enable you to neglect or not prioritize your future needs and tasks, because many times we get caught up in the moment. We're not thinking about tomorrow or what else is yet to come. We're just focusing on the here and now. So we have to find that balance, you know. Um, when you're so caught up in the moment and you're enjoying that present time, when you're out there with friends and family, whatever the case may be, are you going to start to eat too much? Are you partying too much? You're not getting your proper rest, sleep. You're not caring about the consequences of your actions because you're so caught up in the moment, in the current state, right? So these are some of the things we have to think about when we're living in the present. We're living in the today and not worrying about tomorrow. All right. So now let's look at what are some of the pros and cons of living for tomorrow. Okay, hold on. We got a couple of comments coming in. So let me just go through those real quick. All right. All right. So my sis. All right. It says ACAN Healthcare, but that is our sister that was on with us last week, Sister Fletcher from Caregiver Referral Services. Okay, she says she takes no thoughts for tomorrow. Wow. Tomorrow provides for itself. Please explain. Take no thoughts for tomorrow. Tomorrow provides for itself. Please explain. Did you see that somewhere, sis? I'm not sure what you mean by please explain. I thought that's what your thoughts were, but no, that's not my belief. So please explain. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. All right, we got another comment coming in. My brother, Mr. Garner. Brother Craig, how are you, sir? Good to have you with us, brother. And he's saying, as a 75-year-old man, as a 75-year young man, God bless you, sir. Yes, sir. I have lived this truth. Okay. My health has begun to deteriorate such that I wish I had lived more fervently in the past. Mm. Youth makes fools of us all. Yes, wise words being spoken by a very wise and mature man. So, yes, as we talked about some of the cons of living in the present and not worrying about your future, we do things that can be detrimental to our health and our well being. Partying, overeating, not maintaining our health because we're so caught up in having a good time and enjoying that experience that we're not really focused on the consequences that may come from it. So, like I said, we have to find that balance. We have to use wisdom, as my brother Craig is saying, in dealing in the present and making sure that we're not doing more harm than good to ourselves where when we get caught up and we are enjoying the moment, right? So those temporary joys can bring us a lifetime worth of pain. So yes, my brother, thank you so much for sharing that, and we shall definitely take heed unto that word. You have my sis, Yvette Bolden from Bold Nutrition's Consulting. And she says, great blessed evening, everyone. Blessings to you, my sis. So good to have you with us. And thank you for joining us. Oh, wow. Yes. So that was very good. Yes. I'm glad Brother Garner shared that information with us as it pertains to taking some necessary measures in being mindful of getting too caught up in the present and neglecting what tomorrow can actually bring in our lives. All right. Okay, so let me just get back to this. All right, so we talked about the pros and cons of living for in the present. So now let's talk about the pros and cons of living for tomorrow. Give me 1 second. Just need to take that down. Okay. All right. So the pros and cons of living for tomorrow. So what does that look like? So focusing on the future. Future rewards and setting clear goals can boost your motivation, your discipline, and productivity in the present. gives you goals to pursue in life. So these are some of the pros when we're talking about living for tomorrow. Prioritizing long time gains over immediate gratification, right? Can enhance your self control and lead to better decision making skills. Yes, that is a part of being more wise and conscious of your decision making and the consequences that it shall bring. So, when we're talking about this, we're talking about when you're making decisions that's going to affect you academically, with your finances, or in your career paths. We have to find that balance and make sure we are staying on the right track. So, savings and investing for the future can lead to financial independence, and that's what we all are looking for. We don't want to feel like we're going to be going through the rest of our lives and feel like we have to be working to be able to financially take care of ourselves. So it starts now. It starts when in our younger days, but we can't go back in time. But we have to make preparations so that when we do get to those days in which we want to be retired and living the life that we have always expected for ourselves, it starts with making those preparations now to put us in that proper place. Another thing, talking about the pros of living for tomorrow, practicing delayed gratification builds resilience, enabling you to handle setbacks and challenges more effectively while staying focused on your goals. Unlock your creative thinking. Mhm. Research suggests that intentional periods of not focusing on immediate tasks can allow for expansive and creative thinking. And that's true. Have you ever gotten into a place where you just want to reflect upon your life and you're looking towards your future and the different things in which you want to do? What are your aspirations in life? And when you have that quiet time to yourself, you think about the different goals that you want to achieve, uh, the plan of how your family structure, what that all is going to look like. Then when you have that quiet time and that you're in that quiet space, you can really have some great ideas and great concepts come to mind. And you'll start to see visions and great things that you can and will accomplish, but you have to put a plan in place. You have to write those things down. We have some great thoughts, but a lot of times we lose it. So if you're not writing these things down, many a times you're not going to be able to go back to it and remember what that great thought was, that great vision that you had. And that could be the one that can take you to your destiny. So when you have that quiet time and you're thinking and planning on your future, take time to write it down. It is so important. Even if you get that dream and you see it in a vision, oh man, when you wake up out of your sleep, write it down. That can be the one that shall set you free. So yes, a lot of great things come when you come into that quiet place and you let that creative thinking start to expand and just show you some things and reveal some things unto you. Okay, all right. So let's talk about some of the cons associated with living for tomorrow. All right, so excessive focus on the future can lead to neglecting the present. Hmm. Guilty. Yes. So, resulting in missing out on enjoyable experiences, straining relationships, and overall reduced happiness. Okay. Yes. So I am one that likes to prioritize the future planning, and what my aspirations are in life. And a lot of times I find myself not enjoying the moment or enjoying the present time. So let's take this time to reflect upon ourselves. What do you prioritize in life? Are you prioritizing today, or are you prioritizing tomorrow? And then as we go through these pros and cons, look at some of these things, these studies that have been stated, and you know, be mindful or be aware of, are these things impacting your life? And if you find that they are, then we have to say to ourselves, okay, then I need to tweak things a little bit. I need to make some subtle adjustments, some shifts in my behavior and my course of thinking. We have to find that right balance. Like I said in the beginning, there's no wrong answers to this. We just have to find that proper balance, so that um, we're not so caught up in tomorrow or so caught up in today that we're not taking the time out to enjoy the present time or making preparations for the future. But we have that right balance so that we can get to the place in which we so desire, and still enjoy the current time in which we are in. All right, so some other cons are increased stress and anxiety, constant worry about future uncertainties. Excuse me. Constant worry about future uncertainties can cause heightened stress levels and anxiety, impacting mental and even physical health. Yes. So if we get so consumed about what's going on, and you don't think your plans are going to come to fruition in the future, that can really stress you out. So we have to be mindful of these things, and put ourselves in the right place, and have that time of meditation and prayer to put us in the right frame of mind and make sure we're having that proper balance. Another con is the potential for burnout. Overtraining or constantly pushing for future success without adequate breaks and self-care lead to burnout. Another con is negative impact on relationships. Neglecting present interactions and focusing solely on future goals can damage relationships with family and friends. Wow, that is powerful. And yes, so true. So, like when we said earlier, um, when you think about today versus tomorrow, and do you want to go see that longtime friend, family member, or loved one that you haven't seen in ages? Are you going to do it today, or are you going to put it off until tomorrow, and that tomorrow never comes? Balance. What is our priority? What are we prioritizing in life? So we have to find that balance in making sure we're doing things that will enable us to live a productive life, a life that we are enjoying, a life that brings us much fulfillment, and we're sharing that time with others, the ones in which we truly love and have a great caring and understanding for. We need to make time to be amongst them. So yeah, those are just some of the things that we need to really take account of, and make sure that we're doing everything within our means to stay in the presence, but at the same time making preparations for our future. All right, so let's look at some of the comments we got coming in. All right, so Sister Jody says, okay, I limit the sugar intake in my diet. Yes, my sis, I am doing the same. Water, water, water. I've fallen off a little bit lately, too much of the iced tea and stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna get back to sticking with the water. Sorry. All right. So I limit the sugar intake in my diet. I'm privy to the knowledge of diabetes in the bloodline. Yes, very important that we all be aware of what's going on in our family lineage. I've to I have to make conscious decisions of not eating too much sugar to have a healthy me in my olden times. Yes, but it's true. It's true. We have to um, be disciplined in our actions and know that uh, although we want to enjoy the food we eat, the company we keep, but we have to also understand and be mindful there are consequences for our actions. So if you're going to overindulge in sweets and beverages and things that you know can have health ramifications, then you're setting yourself up to have those consequences, to pay those consequences later on in life. So we have to have balance and have the discipline to know when to say enough is enough. Okay, I have to break negative general cycles. So what do you mean by this? By that, sis? Elaborate a little bit. I have to break negative general cycles. What do you mean by like family having a negative mindset, or yeah, just elaborate on that a little bit. Let me know what you mean. Okay. She also say, from I was in high school, I told myself I want to retire early. Yes, my sis, I said the same thing when I was about 25 years old. I told myself that by the time I was 50 years old, I will be retired. I am not at that point, but still striving to reach it. I am 54 at currently speaking. So I'm a little behind in my retirement plan, but still working ambitiously to get there. And I'm quite sure that you are as well. But yes, we have to set goals for ourselves in order for them to come to pass. You know, we have to set those plans and goals in which we desire for our lives. And hopefully at an early age, and then we work towards achieving those goals. If you don't have some goals, some dreams, some desires set in place, then what are you going to use to motivate yourself to keep you going to surpass your expectations? So it is very important that we have those motivational drives that will push us and help us to excel in life. All right. Let me see. Sister Yvette says, okay. She says, thank you, Brother Rob. Glad to hear. Bless you, my sis. Thank you so much. Okay. Yes, discipline myself with my health. Yes, Sister Yvette Bolden from Bold Nutritionist Consulting is a workout fanatic, and she also has a very interesting DNA weight management program. I hope to be able to pull up her website. Yvette, please type your website in the chat. It's a DNA weight based management program, and it's constructed to help you reach um, your health related goals, whether that be in weight loss, weight gain, an exercise program, a dietary program based upon your DNA. So everybody's body is different. So it is very important that you have a plan or a diet that is going to be customized specifically for you. And that's what she does because she knows that through your DNA, she can figure out what's going to uh, reap the greatest benefits for you based upon your body type. So please, sis, put in your website in the chat. I'm going to try to pull it up myself and share it with our listeners and viewers this evening. Okay, so Sister Jody says generational. Okay, so yes, when she was talking about, um, I have to break negative generational cycles. So things that are coming down through the lineage. Yes, I totally get that and understand that. Yes. So yeah, that all goes back to understanding different health dynamics that go within our lineage and DNA based things that go with us mentally, physically, spiritually as well. All of these things transition through generations. So we need to be aware of what's going on in our lineage and take the proper courses of actions. All right. So let me see if I can find Yvette Bolden's. There we go. Website. All right, here we go. So this is Yvette Bolden from Bold Nutrition Consulting LLC, and that is her website at the bottom, which is boldnutritionconsulting.com. Please check out her website. She has a DNA based weight management program and diet program, excuse me, based on your body type and DNA, and she can customize a plan just for you. I'm going to share that in the chat as well so that, ooh, hopefully, okay, there we go. So, yes, you can visit her website and see the different services that she has to offer. All right. Give me 1 second there. Okay. All right. So, yes, let me know if you see that in the chat. I know we're on Facebook as well, so I'm going to have to go over to Facebook and put that in manually over there. But yes, family, wow, really enjoyed the discussion, enjoy your interaction, your feedback, and sharing some of your thoughts and interpretations on this particular topic of, are you living for today or living for tomorrow? So if you received value from this discussion, please, by all means, share it out. Share it with someone. Uh, they can have a great takeaway from it for themselves. We are not gatekeepers on information. We always love to share our experiences, what we're going through, and hopefully that can help others in going through different experiences in which they may encounter or have encountered previously. So that's what it's all about. If you can reach one, teach one, and we can all become better from it. So, yes, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the broadcast this evening. Really enjoyed it. And as we spoke about it last week, we talked about our upcoming anniversary. So we were not sure of the date of when we first started What's Holding You Back, but indeed it was July the 3rd. So, yes, our anniversary will be coming up in 2 weeks. Yes, the 1 year anniversary for What's Holding You Back. We have not quite decided on what we're going to do for that, but it's going to be epic nonetheless, and we are very much looking forward to it. So if you have any suggestions or requests, please, by all means, type them in the chat. We would love to hear from you guys and see what we can do to make this program even better going forward. So We're going to close things out for this evening, but I just want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the broadcast. Really enjoyed it, and I hope you took great enjoyment and had some revelations come from this discussion that we have this evening. So, on behalf of Christine Allen from Clear Ambitions, my name is Rob McCray from the Business Building Network. And if you have not already subscribed to both of our YouTube channels, please go ahead and do so. Christine's YouTube channel is Clear Ambitions, and my YouTube channel is Rob McCray Networking. So once again, thank you all for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of What's Holding You Back. Have a good night.
They gotta reach for the sky. I was born to succeed, not to be a spoke in the wheel. Told myself there's more to this than just waking up when I feel. So I made a commitment to turn my earnings up. Couldn't see myself as an employee that still couldn't. Looked in the mirror, saw a spark in my eye. Knew I had to hustle and stop living a lie. I packed my dreams in a suitcase, took the first train out, headed for the horizon with success is no doubt. What's holding you back? Holding you back from touching the sky. What's holding you back? You gotta fly like an eagle and go high. What's holding you back? Holding you back from touching the sky. Oh, holding you back. You finally gotta reach for the sky.